welcome back to Mystic Monet. Today's pick a card reading will be Message from Future Self. So each pile will contain basically, kind of if you wanted some advice, if you're feeling down, whatever you're feeling like right now, if you're feeling very unsure about the future, uncertain about your life and where it's headed, this is kind of like a message for yourself from your future self in a way. So we have 4 piles here. You can pause and reflect on the video and pick your pile yourself. You can also use a random number generator, which I'll leave a link down below. Or if you want to be completely personalized, you can also comment which pile is for me, and I'll pick the pile that's intended for you. Thank you so much. Okay, pile number 1. What is your message from your future self? So we have the Sun card pulled here. We have 6 of Cups, 2 of Wands, and 6 of Pentacles reverse. So with this card, your future self definitely wants you to be way more positive in life. If you pick pile number 1, you might be going through a negative time in life, or you might just be a pessimistic person and tend to have a negative outlook on life more than a positive outlook on life. So automatically, your future self wants you to be a little bit more positive and to think more optimistically, clearly, because they're seeing it from a future perspective, just to be more about warmth and radiance. They want you to be able to give unto others. So kind of like a lesson for you would, as of right now, is to be the person that other people can lean on, and also be the person that can be potentially helpful towards others. If people are going through things, they want you to be the kind of person that people can come to you for advice. The Sun definitely gives Leo vibes, so it's all about being confident. So this also speaks to you being more confident with yourself, loving yourself more, taking more time and care for yourself, and grooming yourself more. So, if you haven't been taking care of your hair like you need to, if you haven't been grooming yourself like you need to, even if you have to get a planner and then you plan out days where you take care of yourself. If you're a woman, like paint your nails, paint your toes, cleaning up your house, just little things to take care of yourself and be more aware of how you're being perceived in the outside world. So, with the pandemic and everything, everyone's kind of been very loungy, not really putting too much effort into the way that they look, sweatpants, this, that, and other. But from your future self, they kind of want you to take more time and care into the way that you look, and making sure that you're more presentable than you have been. So if you're usually the type of person to wear sweatpants and lounge and chill, your future self kind of wants you to take more care and maybe switch it up a little, buy outfits that you really wouldn't wear, basically pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone when it comes to your self-worth and your appearance. So just taking way more care of your appearance and making sure you look better and are being perceived better. So when I say perceived better, it's not just based off of your looks, but how you carry yourself and how the way you act in public and things of that nature. So just make sure you're more kinder. Maybe you could smile more in public. A lot of us probably have RBF, resting bitch face. So your future self probably wants you to not be so looking in that way when you're out and about, just being more of like a light to people when you're out and about. Hey, how you doing? If you see an older woman struggling, you can help them with the groceries. If you're a man and you see a woman struggling with their trash, you can help them with their trash. Being more giving to your community and being a light when you step out into public is something that your future self wants you to take consideration of. With the 6 of Cups here, this is all about childhood and familiarity, and it's a lot of childhood cards, especially with the Sun here as well. So I definitely see a huge incentive on you being, I don't want to say being more childish, but really looking into your inner childhood. So a lot of you could possibly have some childhood trauma that you haven't fully released. So if anything traumatic happened to you when you were a child, learning how to release that, possibly going to therapy, maybe talking to other people about it. You'll be surprised by how many people have been through the same thing that you have been through, and that could be something that could be a place of growth for you. So just focusing on your childhood. What did you do when you were a child that you enjoyed? Did you like playing video games? Did you like playing with your cousins or friends? What did you specifically do as a child that you enjoyed? And that could possibly be a career path for you, or it could also be something that you do for fun, and you can release some of that childhood trauma through that way. So really focusing on your inner child, and also learning that, like, it's okay to be a little, I don't want to say childish, but it's okay to be a little more lighthearted. I'm really getting that a lot of people that pick this pile aren't as lighthearted as they could be. So your future self is just asking you to be a little bit more lighthearted about things. And that, yes, life can be serious and life can be draining, but it's time to, focus more on the positive things in life and just going back to that optimistic way of thinking. Just focus more on the positive, focus more on being a little bit more lighthearted in the things that you do and the things that you say. Like, probably joke more, probably listen to more comedy shows or watch more comedy type films. Just being lighthearted all the way around. Also, with the Six of Cups card, this is all about familiarity and nostalgia. So maybe if you have moved away from home or you're away from where you were raised up, maybe it'll be a good time for you to move back to home. Maybe this is advice for you to move back to home or move back to what you're familiar to. So maybe you have been pushing against that. So if you were raised in one place and you've moved to another place, I think your future self is saying that, and you've been debating whether you should move back home or you like the thought of moving back home is disgusting to you. Your future self is basically saying like you should probably take that move back home. You should probably be around familiar surroundings that surrounded you as a child. If there's family relationships that have been broken off, and if they're toxic, I would never advise you to, connect the toxic relationship again. But if there have been broken family relationships or people that you've grown up with and it wasn't toxic, you've just grown apart, your future self is saying maybe reach out to them, maybe build that connection back up again, because there's probably a lot that you can learn from those people in your life right now. With the Two of Wands, it also represents advance, explore, prospects. So just vice versa, if you haven't moved out of your hometown. So if you're the person that moved out of your hometown, it's advised for you to go back. If you're the person that has been completely comfortable in your surroundings, you haven't moved in forever, you're still in the same area, the same neighborhood, then the Two of Wands is definitely telling you that you need to advance and explore and make sure that maybe you can live in a different city and live in a different place and explore your surroundings in a different way. Also, Two of Wands can also represent just basically taking action in your life. So this doesn't necessarily mean making a permanent move. Maybe you're the type of person that really doesn't travel as much as you could. So this is also just saying that like you can learn a lot through traveling, exploring things. And then Two of Wands, it doesn't even have to be just traveling far away. You might not have the funds for that. Like doing things that's completely out of your comfort zone for sure. So, if you're the type of person that doesn't like to do adventurous things, then this is saying you should probably do adventurous things like rock climbing or, hiking, things of that nature. Anything that's like completely out of your comfort zone is saying explore those things. If you're watching this video, you're probably into astrology or tarot. So maybe get into that deeper. Maybe buy tarot cards. Maybe get more into your spiritual understanding, learning about chakras, learning about crystals, learning how to meditate. Just be more aware of like exploring your options about your spirituality and for yourself. You possibly need to read more. You can learn a lot from reading clearly. So, you can learn more about cultures, things of that nature. This is just the Two of Wands card is all about basically making actions and making change in your life. So, love just came up to me. So possibly if you're in a toxic relationship right now, clearly your future self definitely is saying that you need to advance, explore, because prospects comes up with the Two of Wands card. So maybe looking at your options, maybe this is the person that you need to be with, even if it feels that way right now. Maybe they want you to actually look at different prospects and your dating life. If you are single and you pick pile number 1, then this is just saying that you need to put yourself out there more. A lot of people can be very weary or like weird about dating apps, and they're just not into dating apps whatsoever. But this kind of shows this message is basically saying that maybe you should do dating apps and maybe you should put yourself out there more. And you don't necessarily have to be with the person or even form a romantic relationship with the person that you're texting a dating app. Sometimes a dating app can be used to build up your confidence. You have all these people in your messages saying how beautiful you are. They're trying to obtain you, and that's enough to just build your confidence and get kind of that Leo charisma again and just being more positive in your life. So maybe that could be something that can propel you into becoming this future self that you need to be. So with the Six of Pentacles reversed here, this card is usually about being taken advantage of financially. So just to me, what this message is saying, be very aware of your finances, be very aware of who you have around. If there is someone around you that you're making more money than and this, that, and other, make sure you're not like footing the bill for everything. Make sure you're not just giving out money to people that you know they're not going to return the money. Just be very more aware of your finances and where it is going, because I do see with the Six of Pentacles reverse that the message from your future self is that they want you to have more of a watchful eye of who is around you and be more perceptive of who is around you, because it does look like someone's taking advantage of you financially. Also, with the Six of Pentacles reverse, the message from your future self is to not care so much about finances. I see a lot of greed here. Of course, we all want to be financially stable and we all want to have like money. Like, who doesn't want money? But that's not the goal that your future self is saying here. The goal, honestly, from your future self is mostly focusing on yourself, building up your confidence, being more optimistic, and just overall exploring things that you've never explored before, because these are all very instrumental in your growth as a person right now. And that's the message that I'm overall getting from your future self. Also, I see debt here. So a lot of you might be in school. You could have school debt, this, that, and the other. That's just showing up. It's not that big of a deal. But overall, that's what your future self wants you to learn and wants you to focus on, which is yourself, your growth, the way that your appearance, and focusing on that childhood trauma. Being more lighthearted in life is also the key to your growth and your success. And that's all I'm getting from the message from your future self, Pile 1. I really hope this was helpful to you. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share to friends so they can see what their message is, the signs that I'm getting. Let's see. So I have Leo, Scorpio, Aries, and that's it. So I have Leo, Scorpio, and the Aries for this pile. Thank you so much. Okay, pile number 2. So this is the message from your future self. We have the Six of Wands reverse, Page of Cups reverse, Five of Cups, and Eight of Cups, and the Star. So just one major arcana card. So honestly, the message from your future self, we have a lot of sad cards here. I'm not sure if you're experiencing depression or anything like that, but we have a lot of cards that represents, Six of Wands represents low spirits. Page of Cups, Six of Wands reverse represents low spirits. Page of Cups reverse represents low tides. Five of Cups is a card about disappointment. So the message from your future self is that I kind of getting that, if you haven't experienced this yet, I see a lot of disappointment in your future, unfortunately, which no one wants to hear that. But I see a lot of disappointment. A lot of things that you expected to go one way will not be going that way. This lifetime, unfortunately for you, is all about rebuilding. I wouldn't be surprised if you were a Scorpio, because that card is all about that sign is all about transformation. Or if you're just a water sign, period, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. But with this alone, the message from your future self is that, unfortunately, the cards that you were dealt in this lifetime is that you're going to experience a lot of things that are going to make you emotional, and they're going to make you feel down and maybe just apprehensive about the future in total. Of course, you're apprehensive, especially if you picked this video to begin with, right? The main message here is that you have to get out of being so incapable of processing and handling your emotions. I'm getting a lot of instability. I'm getting a lot of not being able to hone in why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. You don't need to be sad about everything. Everything that happens to you, it happens to you for a reason, and just processing your emotions more in a healthy way. Your message from yourself is just learning that, like, a lot of the things that you're upset and sad about, like, you're going to look back and you're going to laugh at it, and you're going to be, why did I spend so much energy, being drained over this situation or something that I had no complete control over? So I'm just getting a lot of sadness from this pile, unfortunately. But the main message here is that just try to, like, it's all about perspective, especially with the Five of Cups here. So stop looking at, the cup half empty and start looking at it more half full. They want you to learn how to focus on what you need to focus on and continue to focus and push through with that. Learning how to not let your emotions get the best of you, and also learning how to not let other people test you. That just came to me. So I do feel like you have people in your circle or people in your family, just people around you that kind of like to poke and prod you because they know that you're sensitive. So they know, like, here's the thing about people, and some people like to prey on other people's weaknesses. So, for example, if you said something like, oh, I'm insecure about my nose, then you will have people around you that will purposely bring that up to get this reaction out of you. This is just an example. This can apply to anything that, in your life that you feel insecure about, your relationship, your finances. People around you, or certain people around you, tend to like to poke and prod and bring those things up in order to get a reaction out of you. And I feel like you give them that every single time, and just learning how not to give so much of a reaction to these people. Your future self really wants you to start cutting some of these people off. So if you know exactly who I'm talking about, like the people that you feel like every time I'm around them, I feel like I'm having to defend myself, or I feel like I'm getting in this really emotional place. This person, your future self, definitely wants you to cut these people off, because they're the reason why you're being down in the first place, but also being able to control your emotions in a way to where you don't let them get you to a point where you are popping off, or you are feeling like you're defending yourself. Learning how to be in a space or place in your life to where people can't say anything or do anything towards you and it affects you such in a negative way. And also learning how to be set up for the future. Your future self also wants you to start to take these moments of sadness and this moment of disappointment, and learning how to take that time to reflect and have to not brood so much over it, or just get so down that you're only focusing on the negative parts of it. It's all about just learning how to have more introspection. So being more observant about your flaws and what you played a part into it as well. So learning how to have a little bit more accountability for your actions, but also realizing that, for example, if this person is poking and prodding and getting these reactions out of you, yes, they're wrong, but why are you still talking to this person? You have to take accountability for your part. Why are you continuously giving this person this time or energy in the first place? So just taking a little bit more accountability, having a little bit more introspection on what you need to do. I definitely would recommend meditating with this card, getting into meditation. Yoga came up, things of that nature, because that is when you're going to have the most clarity and maybe the more peace, and that might actually guide you on what you need to do in your life. With the star being the final card in this pile, to me, that represents that you are going to get to a place where you're at a full healing and you're at a full peace in your life. But it's going to take a lot of you learning how to process your emotions more and not letting your emotions fully get the best of you. So the main thing is just really focusing on your incapability of processing your emotions better. I'm also getting immaturity from this pile. So a lot of your reactions to things is very immature. You can, and it kind of goes with the emotions things, letting people get you to a point. So I'm getting a lot of reactiveness from this card as well. So just learning how to be more mature about situations, learning how to walk away, learning not to let people get the best of you, learning not to let situations get the best of you. Kind of have more of a temperament of a child when it comes to not getting your way. If you hear no, or if your life is, you didn't get the job, or if this person doesn't want to talk to you, or anything that is going against what you prefer, instead of handling it more of an adult. This card indicates that you kind of handle it in an immature way, and you handle it kind of in a childish way. The reason why you are this way with certain things and situations and people can get the best of you has everything to do with your childhood. Either you had a parent or parents who allowed you to basically talk back to them. They probably weren't the strictest parents on the block. They probably let you get away with a lot of things. So this can kind of apply to your adult life. You're used to getting your way. You're used to being able to express yourself freely without any consequences or, anything of that nature. So when you become adult, when you don't get your way as an adult, you don't really know how to process that because you always got your way as a child. So that could be the case. You could have also actually had strict parents too. because this can apply either way. But with these parents, they were probably strict, but at the same time, I don't think that they gave you that much attention. And now as an adult, you like trying to garner that attention from the people and the circumstances around you. So just learning how to heal some of that childhood trauma and just learning how to heal some of the ways that you've been taught, because it's not helping you in the long run. With the rebuild reputation, I feel like you're going to go through like a lot of crumbling before you can climb back up again. So with the future self is basically saying that, like, please don't be afraid of rebuilding. So if you, for example, you're very high, like this card can indicate someone who gets very high in their career. You know, they get promoted and then out of nowhere get fired, or the company lose money and then now you're laid off and you're like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, or this could be a card of someone who went to school for one thing, like went to school for years for this one thing, this one subject. This is what they're going to do. And then you realize, like, this is not what I want to do. And what should I do? Whatever it is, don't be afraid to rebuild. So if you're in that situation, for example, you went to law school, for example, and you want to be a lawyer, and then you realize, you know what, I'm not really into this. And then now you're afraid because, okay, well, I already spent all that time on that, so I have to do this. No, you don't have to do that. That's what your future self is telling you. So don't ever feel like you have to do something because you worked so hard in that way. That stuff is still going to help and apply to other things in your life, and it still was beneficial in other ways. So don't ever feel stuck in anything, relationship, work, career field, finances, anything in your life where you feel like you have to because I'm getting like you putting a lot of time into something and feeling like you have to continue that something because you've already put so much time into it, so it's a waste of time. And the message from your future self is basically telling you it's not a waste of time. Like, that stuff is still going to help you and apply to other things in your life, and to learn how to let go and being comfortable with rebuilding and starting from scratch. Because unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but in this lifetime, it's all about starting from scratch from you. Also, when you have like these emotional spurts or when you're feeling really down and depressed, it's such a key part of you that is supposed to be using introspection. So looking deep into yourself, figuring out, what are your triggers? Why do I get so sad or so upset when this happens to me? Learning where does that stem from? If it happened in childhood, learning how to heal those wounds and really like having way more introspection when it comes to yourself will be the thing that'll help you heal the most. But like I said, with the start ending this pile overall, I'm definitely getting like basically the feeling that you will heal. Your future self saying you are going to be healed and you are going to be at peace and you are going to get to a place where you're way more mature with your emotions and you're not going to be feeling so down. So I feel like if you pick pile number 2, you're probably feeling down or you're going through a rut right now and you can't figure out, you're probably been crying a lot and can't figure out like, why am I feeling so like down? Like, what is really going on with me? Probably feeling like a lot of confusion when it comes to your emotions, not really feeling in place when it comes with your emotions, but just know from your future self that that's all on you. Learning how to take more accountability and learning when you are feeling that way about your emotions, maybe getting a journal, writing down why you feel the way that you feel. What could that be from? And also learn how to write down your triggers. Like if something happens and someone said this to you, or a situation happened and that got like the worst negative emotion, I'm getting panic attacks. You might have panic attacks as well. I'm sorry, that just came to me. But yeah, like just writing down your triggers and being like, okay, this is what's triggering me. This is what's getting this reaction out of me. And then like seeing if you notice a pattern, because for pile 2, there's definitely a pattern of things, like something like that's under umbrella of things, like a category of things that specifically make you feel this way and pulls those negative emotions out of you. But you're definitely going to get a place of healing. You're definitely going to be at a place of peace, but you just really have to work on your emotions and work on letting go and realizing that you don't have to stick to anything in life. So for this pile, outside of the water signs I said, I also have Aquarius, Taurus, Virgo, and like I said before, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces for people that picked pile number 2. If this reading resonated with you all, if it gave you any type of clarity in what you've been going through, please like, comment, subscribe. Share with your friends so they can also get a message from their future self, and comment any feedback. I'm open to it all. Thank you so much. Okay, pile number 3. What is the message for your future self? So I pulled a good number of cards for this pile. I have the 9 of Swords reverse, 4 of Wands, 5 of Pentacles reverse, Queen of Swords, Strength, 9 of Cups, 3 of Cups, and the Moon card. So the first message that I'm getting from your future self is that you specifically have got to learn how to pay more attention to your intuition. You're actually very spiritual, not necessarily spiritual. We all have intuition, but I feel like you specifically have a very intuitive nature about you that you tend to at this moment not pay as much attention to as you should. So the first message, especially with this nine of swords reverse, it's all about mindfulness. So meditation, it's all about making conscious choices, thought patterns. So you just aren't the type of person in this lifetime, especially coming from the message from your future self. It's not meant for you to make decisions or do certain things without thinking it thoroughly. Every single, especially major decision in your life, whether it's something as moving or who should be a friend of yours, should always be thought thoroughly through and actually like really reflecting on those type of decisions. So you aren't the type of person where you can just get up and move and everything just falls into place. No, you definitely have to plan out your decisions. You definitely have to make sure that you're thinking that all the way through. So that's like the first message I'm getting from your future self, is to actually think about any major decision that you're going to make and not just go off of impulse. And a lot of people who pick this pile, I do feel like you're probably the impulsive kind, maybe an Aries, maybe a fire sign, things of that nature. But even though it's in you to want to just go and not really think it thoroughly, the first message from your future self is to 100% think about the decisions that you make. So with the Four of Wands here, and I just mentioned moving, which I was just using that as an example, but Four of Wands definitely represents home. It also represents your mother, your backbone, your foundation, people that support you and care about you. So the message that I'm getting from this is, the message from your future self is, I guess if you were considering moving, if you pick this pile, this is really telling me not to move from your hometown. It's still a lot of lessons for you to learn there, a lot of things that you need to learn. And I do get the message as if the people that are considering moving, it's almost as if, are you running from something? Did you get a better job opportunity? If so, the opportunity is not, it's not as great as you think it's going to be. Whatever you feel like is better, with this move, it's not as great as you think it's going to be, especially from this message. Like the Four of Wands is definitely basically telling you to stick to your roots, stick to the rivers and lakes that you're used to, stick to what is comfortable, stick what you have been taught, your core traditional values. So staying home and staying near home is going to be very important to you. And then also I'm getting that you guys have got to learn who to be loyal to. So this goes back to making sure that you're thinking things through before you make decisions. So the people that are in your life that are friends, that have showed you that they're good friends and they're good people, please learn how to be more loyal to them. Stop talking about them behind their back if that's the case, or anything of the such that will make them like look at you differently, because I see some of you possibly losing a lot of good friendships and a lot of good connections because you weren't being the best friend or the best person that you could be for that person, because you tend to maybe not take those relationships as seriously as you should. But just message from your future self is that you should probably take these relationships just a little bit more seriously and pay more attention to that. And who you have around you and who you should be loyal to. With the Four of Wands, this is just indicating like whoever's been around the longest and whoever's been there, that's who you need to be loyal to. New people, you should definitely be more wary of. So with the Five of Pentacles reverse, I'm getting that, this is basically the message. This is just a message from your future self, basically saying that, be a little bit more comfortable with having to rebuild your money or start over with your money. I'm getting something like Five of Pentacles reverse is all about financial recovery. So it's not saying that you're poor, you don't have money. What it's saying is that you're recovering from some type of financial loss. So either you have student loans, something that you have to pay off, or something ends up happening when it comes to your money in finances where you're going to have to like rebuild that money back up. Basically, it's just telling you to have perseverance in that situation. If you are currently in that situation, it's okay. It's just something that was meant for you in this lifetime. But all in all, I'm just getting that, just be more attentive to your loans, anything that you have to pay off. Please don't let that build up. That's what I'm getting the most. Like, start paying that off now. And that's easier said than done. Maybe you don't have the finances to pay it off now, but whenever you do, don't, go make a big purchase on something that you want versus the things that you need to take care of. So with the Magician reverse, yeah, I do feel like, especially with this pile, with this card along with the Four of Wands, I'm definitely getting that a couple of you guys who picked pile number 3, you have some people around you that really don't have your best interest at heart. And honestly, I'm getting, especially with the Four of Wands, I think a lot of you have probably met someone new in your life, maybe a new friend, maybe a new lover, new coworker, somebody that you've been giving more attention to and like feeling like that they're trustworthy. But a lot of this energy is making me feel like just be very, like I said before, side eye energy to the people that are new in your life, because I'm definitely getting that, like, it's not all that meets that you see. It's not all that I forgot the fucking saying. That meets the eye. I don't know, but it's not all what it's cracked out to be when it comes to them. I'm definitely getting trickery, especially with the Magician reverse, manipulation, and this card also represents untapped potential. So this could also be a message just basically saying there's something about you that you haven't fully tapped into that could possibly be very beneficial to you financially. But all in all, with this card, I'm getting more of like just anyone that resonates with. If you've met someone new and you've really been feeling them, like, just be wary about them, because I'm not getting like the best vibes from them, and it's come up like twice now. So with the Queen of Swords, okay, so Queen of Swords is an intellectual card, but what I was getting was that some of you, and don't take this the wrong way, some of you think that you're smarter than what you actually are. So just be a little bit more clever, because the thing about intelligence is knowing when you're not the smartest person in the room, and not always assuming that you can underhand someone or that you're smarter than someone, because there are people out there that will pretend to be of lower intelligence with someone that they know that thinks that they're smarter than them, and they'll use that to their advantage. And now that they've been underestimated, now they have the upper hand on you, because you're not suspecting them to do anything, or you're not suspecting them to have the intelligence that they actually have. So what I'm getting from this is that a lot of you are very smart, and mostly through your life you have used your intelligence to gain good things in your life and used it to benefit you, which, I mean, who wouldn't? But just be a little bit careful. And I'm probably getting that with the new friend. I feel like there's going to be people in this lifetime leading into your future self that you are going to underestimate, and you are going to automatically think that you're smarter than. Don't get me wrong, you're very intelligent, and most of the time you are smarter than the person sitting across the table from you. But don't think that every person sitting across the table from you that you're smarter than. Just a word of advice. So keep in check of your ego a little bit when it comes to your intelligence. So we have the Strength card here too. Yeah, so this is just, to me, just representing the fire energy of this pile. This pile is definitely giving me fire energy. I'm going to do the signs at the end, but basically just learning how to be, not even learning. I feel like, honestly, this pile gives me confidence already. I already feel like if you with this pile, you're already a confident person. So I'm not getting the advice to be more confident. Just more of like, it's more of like an admiration from your future self. Like, that's one thing that they can say that you don't really need to change, that's something that's really going to carry you a long way and put you in a positive mindset later in the future. So with the Nine of Cups, Nine of Cups is a really beautiful card. I love this card, and it's so rare that it even comes out. So it's just a great thing to even see in this pile. But for pile number 3, the main thing with the Nine of Cups is, I just always tell people when I get this card, is basically it's almost like wishing on a star. Like, you really have a good luck with you. So basically, I wouldn't limit yourself too much. But with the Nine of Swords reverse that we just talked about, every decision still has to be thought through. So I do feel like, for the most part, the fields and things that you do, or whatever pathways that you take as far as when it comes to success or just come to your life, for the most part, your spirit guides and just spiritual, whatever you believe in, is there to support and guide you. You're on the right path, and for the most part, you will get fulfillment from it. But with the Nine of Swords reverse also in this pile, I'm getting that you should still also 100% think it thoroughly through. you should not jump into things. But if you think it through and you weigh it out, there's nothing to be nervous about, because it's already meant for it to be fulfilled, and it's already meant for you in this lifetime to be in a good place, you know? And then with the 3 cups, the phrase party more came up. So maybe some people in this pile, need to party more. I'm getting 3 cups is just a celebration card. So it could just be basically the message of, you know, yes, you want to do this with your life. Yes, you want to be successful, this, that, and the other. But learning how to wind down, learning when to have a good time, and then celebrating how far you have come, and always like pursuing and pushing yourself to be better, but at the same time not being like a prude about it, like having moments where you're like, I'm doing okay, and like I want to celebrate that. And the 3 cups to me also is more of like a home card. Like when I'm looking at this card, especially when I'm looking at it with the 4 of Wands right here, yeah, you really need to stick to your roots. Pile number 3, it just keeps coming out through this pile. So like people that you went to high school and y'all are still friends or anything like that, like these people are very important in your life, and the message from your future self is basically telling you like, please stick to what you know as far as friends and even family and where you at right now. So the last card that we have, the moon, and the moon, it represents your subconscious, your shadow self, the surreal, what is not truly there. And then with the 9, so the fact that we begin the reading with 9 of Swords reversed, which represents mindfulness and conscious choices, like being so into your head that you're making sure that you're making like the best decisions that you need to make for yourself. And then we're ending the pile with the moon, which is representing the subconscious and your shadow self. I think this is basically them rounding out the reading and basically saying like, just make sure you think everything clearly and thoroughly, but also tap into the deeper parts of yourself, the inner child, whatever needs to be healed. If there is any trauma that you have not healed from, I would recommend therapy, maybe. Get that part of you healed, the inner part of yourself that, and if this is kind of confusing, let me try to break it down. Let's just give an example. We have a guy named Steve or Sally or someone who starts with the S, if that's significant. That just came to me. Either way, so you have this person and they're doing great in life. They have a good job. They have good friends, good life, whatever. Fast forward, but, when they were a child, they were abused. Just hear me out, run with me. And they actually have a drinking problem. They drink all the time. They drink with their friends most of the time. They'll drink with their family, and they drink alone. They're usually drunk, but for the most part, they have a good control under it. They're still able to go to work. They're like a productive drunk. So in their way, they don't feel like it's really a bad thing, but they haven't figured out why they are so persistent on getting themselves to be in an altered state of mind versus sober a lot of the times. And the reason why is because they haven't dealt with that inner part of themselves, the part that was abused, a part that was taking care of them. And the fact that they're so productive and doing everything that society says should be checked off, like my bills are paid, I have a good job, I have family and friends, I'm loved, I'm doing everything right. If I have a drink, that shouldn't be a problem if I'm able to be productive, but that's not the case because that part hasn't been healed. And this is advice for anybody. I'm sorry all these messages are just coming up, but if you need any type of substance like all the time, and I kind of get a lot of pushback from people who smoke marijuana because marijuana is definitely the more acceptable drug nowadays, so people feel like it's still okay to smoke weed 24/7, 7 days a week, but I feel like with anything, to an excessive amount of anything is unhealthy. It doesn't matter what, TV, even tarot. You have to learn how to do things in limits and dosage. I took a very long break. So I say all of this to say I'm sorry, I got a lot of messages. Most people pick pile number 3. That could be why. But get into the touch with your inner self and make sure that you're not healing that part of yourself. Make sure you're tackling that. Like if you were hurt, if your mom wasn't there for you, if your dad wasn't there for you, have you actually channeled and figured out, have you actually healed from that? or have you faked healed from that? Like, you don't really talk about it. Like, have you truly healed from that? That's a question that you should always ask yourself. So that's all I'm getting for pile number 3. Please let me know if that resonated with you. The signs that I got for this pile is Sagittarius, Aries, Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and Libra. So thank you so much. If this resonated with you, please like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend or family member so they can see what their message is. Thank you so much and have a good day. Okay, pile number 4. What is the message from your future self? So I have the 2 of Pentacles reverse, 4 of Cups, Judgment, King of Cups reverse, 4 of Swords, and the Empress reverse. So not a lot of cards, but a lot of messages. So the first thing with the 2 of Pentacles reverse, this is already showing like not having the best finances in this lifetime. And it's just the best advice that I'm getting right now is just, it's honestly due to poor planning, poor preparation when it comes to your finances, and just overall disorganization and neglect. So the key message that I'm getting for your finances from your future self is to not neglect it so much. Really stick on your savings. Really get into saving now if you aren't already, because you are going to need it in the future for sure. I'm seeing a lot of financial instability, so I do see a lot of up and down with your finances, but all of it is just due to disorganization. So not really organizing your finances as well. So the best thing for you is to definitely get into budgeting and saving. Budgeting and saving is very key for you. You're just not the type of person where you're that financially responsible, and that's okay. Some people aren't, some people are. So the best message from your future self is like, please get your finances together. Make sure you're budgeting and saving for sure. With the 4 of Cups, so this energy right now is just showing distraction, not really focusing as much as you need to. I do feel like you probably what is the word? You probably procrastinate a lot, not really planning a lot, kind of just like whatever goals that you have for yourself, you have been procrastinating those goals. You haven't been working on your businesses or whatever you have going on that you want to achieve in life. You haven't been working on it daily like you should have. Honestly, with this pile already, I'm already just getting a lot of disorganization. And with that being said, the best message from your future self is really getting into learning how to organize better. That's just the life that you chose this time. This is how the life is going to go for you. So I definitely recommend calendars, agendas, the notepad in your phone, like any little thing. Like you really need to get into learning how to organize your life, and definitely learning like time management for sure, because I feel like you get distracted very easily with the use of social media, TV shows, movies, which are all great forms of entertainment. But you also want to make sure you're achieving your goals. You also want to make sure you're doing what you actually need to do. And sometimes you don't want to do it. Sometimes you're just not in the mood to do it. So you can do little things like sometimes you watch a show, and then after that episode is done, you have to work on what you need to work on. Let it, if it's school, a business, whatever you are working on is something that you really want to do with your life, you have to make sure that you're making the time for it, and really up your time management skills and up your organization skills for sure, because it's just a lot of distraction and a lot of disorganization. I would say they have a feature on iPhones, not sure about Android, but they have a feature where you can limit your app usage. So I would say really like at least if you have how many social media apps you have in your phone, trim it down to 2. So you can only use 2 social media apps, and you can only use them for, I would say, an hour a day, or just really track that. You'll be surprised how much time you spend looking or reading what other people are doing, which is nothing wrong with that. It's all entertainment, it's media. But the main message from your future self is that you let that take a lot of your time away, and it's a lot of things. You don't want to be where they are, I guess, now, or what they're saying is you don't want to be later on in life, basically thinking, wow, I feel like you're going to achieve your goals. I'm not getting like non-achievement in this pile at all. What I'm feeling like is you're going to be mad at yourself because of all the time you wasted on certain things. You could have achieved your goals way earlier on and been able to enjoy them when you were younger, So it's always better to, like who wouldn't want to be a millionaire in their 20s versus their 30s? Like, yeah, I'm still a millionaire, but at the same time, like it would have been really great to have achieved this in my 20s. Not saying you're going to be a millionaire, but I'm just using that as an example. Whatever your goals are, if you can get it done sooner, then why wouldn't you prefer that? So with the Judgment card, and this goes right back to the distraction and not being as organized. I really feel like they want you to evaluate and reflect on the negative parts of yourself and not just like dwell on it, but like realize, okay, I'm sorry, I don't want to feel like I'm repeating myself, but basically like for the disorganization, just realizing that about yourself. You know what? I am not that organized. You know what? I am not that organized as I thought I was. And I'm just not an organized person. And I feel like you kind of struggle with this a lot. Like 1 minute you're really trying to be organized and like you're disorganized again. Like you're like, okay, damn. Okay, so how do I get this together? So I feel like that's something that you've been struggling with. And that's just one example. It could be multiple things. Just really like reflecting on who you are and your negative things. Because if you don't evaluate and reflect on those things, then there's no way for it to be fixed or repaired from what is, I guess, broken about you. So just really, they really want you to really look into yourself and figure out what needs to be fixed. What about yourself can make you a better person? If you are dealing with laziness, you have a hard time getting up and getting things done. If you're dealing with where you are too nice to people, you let people walk all over you, whatever is like your weakness, like really zone into that and find productive ways to make that not be such a weakness, because those weaknesses will, I don't want to say bring you down, but if you don't work on them now, like eventually you're going to have to work on them. And like I said before, better sooner than later. So I'm getting like better sooner than later a lot. I feel like a lot of these things you eventually do work out, but I'm getting that you don't, like, I feel like the message is very clear on not wanting to work on this later. Like really start working on this now, especially if you are in your 20s and you're reading this and you're listening to this pod. But even if you're older, like you really want to work on some of those things. So with King of Cups reverse, we have this is not going to apply for everybody to pick pile number 4. If you're in a relationship, and this won't even apply if you're just in a relationship, but resonate as it resonates. I'm getting a message of a very toxic relationship that some of you are currently in. A lot of emotional abuse, a lot of like toxicity, a lot of not progressing or no growth on both sides of the relationship. And this could be either you or that person. I really feel like they want you to let this go. So if you already know that you've been in a very like not great place with your partner, and there's ups and downs, but you know that if this applies to you or not, because I said emotional abuse, so that's not going to apply to every relationship. So if it's been a lot of emotional abuse and it's been a lot of toxicity between you two, I really do feel like the message from your future self is to possibly let this go. And the reason why I said let it go, because right after the King of Cups reverse card, we have the Four of Swords, which is all about resting, relaxing, and pretty much being alone and being by yourself. So pretty much I feel like the biggest message here is to let go of a very toxic relationship that you could possibly be in right now. This is a sign. If you know, have something you've been debating or you've been worrying, like, is this something that's going to like prosper me in the future? I really do feel like the biggest message here from these two cards being next to each other is to let that toxic person go. Or not toxic person, but the toxic relationship itself go. Sometimes people aren't even toxic, just sometimes one person can bring out a very negative, bad vibe from another person, and those two people just aren't meant to be together, and that's okay. So also with the King of Cups reverse and with the Four of Swords following it, if it's not a toxic relationship, I really feel like this could be for some people who pick pile number 4, that you're very toxic to yourself. So let's really like stop self-deprecating. Stop speaking negatively about yourself. Oh, I'm so fat, or oh, I'm so ugly, or oh, I'm so poor. All of these things mean a lot. When you say those words out loud, you unknowingly or sometimes knowingly are negatively impacting your life and putting yourself in more of a rut, because you're not speaking positivity into yourself. So you're not putting that positive work and energy out there in the universe for yourself to work on. So stop thinking in such a negative way about yourself. Stop self-deprecating. I see like a lot of people who make sometimes like bad jokes about themselves in front of people, and like it's just very awkward. Like you have to have confidence in yourself for sure. And then with the Four of Swords following this King Cups reverse, you know, being just more kinder to yourself. yourself is another message that I'm getting. Be way more nice to yourself and not letting what someone in the past said to you, just like, I feel like some of you who pick pot number 4 will dwell on one negative thing that someone said to you, and then you feel like it's true. Or even if it is true, let's say you are fat, that can be a factual thing. Okay, so you're fat. Okay, But at the same time, it's so many great things about yourself. So why are you sitting here so willingly to say the negative thing about yourself? Like, are you frequently saying the positive things about yourself? Like, I'm funny. Like, I'm really funny. Or whatever positives about yourself. Do you do it in the same frequency as you do the negative things? I'm not getting from this pal at all. I'm definitely getting that you focus a lot on the negativity about yourself. If the relationship thing didn't resonate, hopefully this part will resonate. I do feel like just a lot of negative affirmations about yourself, and the message mostly is to reverse that and start speaking more positively about yourself, and you'll see the changes you want to see. And then with the 4 of Swords, it's all about resting, and I really do feel like with this is just getting more rest, but not necessarily rest physically, but rest mentally. Stop stressing yourself out over these little things that truly don't matter, these physical things that will not be here once we, pass away. So the last card that I got here is the Empress reverse. So with this card, I'm really getting like a lot of people in this pile are attaching themselves that is not really bringing them any positivity, or that's not really leading them on a positive pathway in life. Stop attaching yourself to something that's not giving you anything. Because with the Empress reverse, that's basically, like I said before, the best metaphor is basically like planting a seed, and then like you keep watering it, you have it in the sunlight, you're doing everything right, and like nothing is being produced, nothing whatsoever. Why do you keep watering this seed? Why do you keep trying with the seed? This is clearly a bad seed, and the seed can represent anything in your life that you know that it represents. I feel like it'll be multiple things, so I feel like that'll apply to a lot of people that pick pile number 4. That there's something that's in your life, and you know what I'm talking about, that you're putting a lot of fucking energy into, and it's not producing anything, and it's not producing anything. So this could be a friend, this could be a lover, but whoever you're putting, or it doesn't have to be specifically a person, it could be a job, whatever you're putting a lot of energy into and you're just not bearing any fruits, you're not bearing anything positive from it. The biggest message is stop attaching yourself to this person. Stop being so dependent on this person. And person, or I keep saying person, so I guess for a lot of people it'll be person, because this is where my mind keeps going to. But overall, please stop attaching yourself to a seed that's not producing you anything, because it's just not beneficial for you in the long run. So I guess to sum it up is just overall really be careful about your organization in life. Get schedules, calendars, all of that stuff. Getting your finances a little bit more better. Learning not to be so distracted by social media. I suggest like only having 2 social media apps and timing it, and basically reflecting on the negative things about yourself, but in order to work on those negative things about yourself, but stop self-deprecating. And if you're in an emotional, abusive, toxic relationship, please let that relationship go. And there is something in your life that could be the toxic relationship, or it could just be anything, whatever it resonates is stop giving that thing energy if it's not giving you anything out of it. So that's all I have for pile number 4. The signs that I got for this, I got a lot of Cancer energy, a lot of Scorpio energy, Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Aries. And this most likely is your sun sign, but it could be a sign that you have like mostly in your chart if you're into birth charts. So thank you so much. If this resonated with you, if this gave you any clarity or insight, please comment, like, subscribe, or share with friends or family so they can also see what their message is. Thank you.